Hi, this is Lauda Out Loud coming at you with our fourth artist here at the Northern Warehouse. This is Richard. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Richard Abraham. I'm an artist at the Northern Warehouse. I've been here 25 years.
Lord have mercy. So what is this collection behind us that you have here? And can you give us a little detail on the story?
Sure. This is something that started, this was originally like during the pandemic. When we were all in lockdown, I started watching, I've always been an old movie fan, but I always had this idea to paint from frames from old films. And so I just kind of had the luxury of time to do that. And I started with James Cagney, and then I just started, kind of one thing led to another, and I scrubbed through. It's really important to me that I pick the frame. So when I'm doing like Joan Crawford, I'm not just Googling like a picture of her and doing like the universal Joan Crawford thing. I'll go through the movie and I'll pick out like 30 or 40 frames, and then I'll decide which one, after doing some sketches and stuff, which one I want to develop into a painting. So it's a long process to do each one. So that's why they're not for sale, because I have no idea what to charge for them.
So what really truly inspired you to want to even like paint the whole collection in general? Like, where is it because you had that specific attraction to that time frame of movies?
Yeah, the time frame of movies, and I always had the idea of doing them in squares so they could be displayed in a grid like this. So so that was always part of the thing. I think I stole that from Andy Warhol. He does those square serigraphs.
Sure.
And then I saw at the Art Institute of Chicago, I saw a show like 30 years ago of all his serigraphs against wall. And I guess that made an impact, kind of stuck with me, that would be a cool way to display a body of work, is have it all the same format.
Could you give me at least some sort of like a clue as to how much time that you spent per painting that is on this wall here?
Yeah, probably. I'm going to say each one's probably about 40 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, because I work on them like gradually, and I'll kind of sit with them.
Okay.
And then retouch them and touch them up and simplify things. So there's a point where you kind of stop looking at the reference and you're just trying to make a good painting.
Sure.
So each one, I'd say there's probably like 30, 40 hours into each one. So with all the changes.
Because these are absolutely marvelous.
Yeah, thanks. Because like I'll simplify, like I'll paint an ear, and then like later that's too detailed, so I'll like soften it up and kind of push it back. And then, so I'll play that game with like pushing the background out of focus and then bringing certain things into focus and work back and forth.
Okay.
So it's a process.
So how long did it take you overall to create the whole collection?
Well, I did that one in 2020.
Okay.
So this has been a work in progress for years. And I have like a collection of these actually down at Lost Fox right now too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Are they just copies of them?
No, they're originals. There's 9 more of these that are on display right now at the Lost Fox.
Beautiful. Okay. So all in all, you were really truly inspired by black and white, because it seems like this happens to be the theme. So I'm assuming your other paintings that you have over at the Lost Fox are black and white as well.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Okay. So like I said, you were telling us it's just based on that era.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your favorite movie from that era then?
Probably The Maltese Falcon, which is like a classic. It's probably the first film noir, first thing that's been classified as a film noir. It's John Huston, the director John Huston's first movie, Humphrey Bogart, Sidney Greenstreet. I'm blanking out on the other actors, but that's a favorite. I like The Third Man is from that.
You want to give a little?
Joseph Cotton. I love that movie.
Beautiful.
So it's just, and some of them I've actually just like this. I discovered the movie as a result of looking for images. So some of them have been discoveries along the way too. So that's kind of fun, because the more you get into the things and you start to like know the directors and like who who uses a lot of close-ups. There's a lot of directors that don't use that many close-ups. You get to know the different cinematographers that you like. So it becomes like this whole rabbit hole you go down. Like the more you're into it, the more the more you can, the deeper you can go into understanding that era and that, and it's given me, like, I read a lot of books now on old Hollywood directors and old Hollywood, so it's just become this thing that it's just this weird obsession.
Beautiful.
So,
Well, I think this is actually really cool. My mom actually raised me off of a lot of black and white films, like Casablanca.
Casablanca.
She actually raised me off of this TV show called Blondie, with Blondie and David Bumstead.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
So for sure, she definitely gave me some insight on that. And I thought it was a pretty fun era, and the fashion, especially with the hair, and everybody was always done up every single day.
Yeah.
Always had to look your best. Even when you're going to the doctor's office, and the ladies always wore red lipstick to make sure that they looked the healthiest. Right. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. So I think that's
and the
actually
guys
really
always
charming.
had hats.
Yes.
Like guys, always, that was a big thing.
Top notch. Even when you're going to lunch, you still have to have your tie all the way up. Kind of interesting. So what is your newest pieces that you want to show us?
Oh yeah, let me show you the still lifes I've been working on.
Funny is, my mom actually she grew us up off of Fiesta, where obviously, because we're Mexicans, so you have to have your different color variations of plates and everything. So that's beautiful.
Yeah,
okay.
I buy a lot of Fiesta wear at thrift stores.
For sure, that's where you get the best ones, because the newer ones aren't actually made with they're made with a specific material that actually, it's not ceramic.
Oh, okay.
Because the old ones are made with ceramic material, I believe. So, anyway, so we're here back in Richard's apartment, and he wants to show us his still life paintings. So, Richard, you want to talk about these three here that you have for us?
Yeah, this is kind of a new series that I've worked on. I've been doing still lifes off and on for years, but just this past winter, I think I really kind of saw, they were always kind of like exercises, like, set something up on a table and paint it as sort of like a workout to like kind of, see how well you can draw. And I think now, like these are like evoke more of a mood.
Sure.
And I like the simplicity of them. I like it's just like this one was the first one that really kind of triggered something, that it could just be so simple.
Sure. What kind of a mood do you think you were trying to capture in this specific picture? Yeah. Or not picture, but painting.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks literally just like a photography picture.
So I don't know exactly. With just something, there's just a stillness and a depth to it. I like that, like this orange is just a little further back than this orange, and you kind of create that feeling of space within on a two-dimensional plane. And then I just really got into like the reflections, how the reflections work. That's why I started painting a lot of the Fiesta wear, because it reflects the other objects in the scene so well. So I don't know, it's just like sort of a calm, like contemplative kind of mood.
Now, my assumption, just really quick, my assumption is when you're actually creating your pieces, you stage them to look this way, correct? So what made you want to actually make these specific pieces stage? What made you want to stage them the way that they are?
Yeah, just, it's just, I don't know, like a gut thing. You kind of you start out with a series of objects and you just keep rearranging them, and then something clicks and you go, yeah, that's it.
Because they're portioned really nicely.
That's the composition, like you kind of, it kind of clicks into place and you kind of know it when it's there. But, and then sometimes there's a lot of them I start and they don't, they don't go anywhere. So these, not everything I paint ends up in a frame finished.
Sure.
There's a lot of trial and error and a lot of stuff that never sees the wall. So
do you feel like in those specific paintings you could be a little bit more harsh on yourself in what you actually feel like is your perfect picture?
Yeah.
Have you ever showcased those specific paintings out and seeing what kind of feedback that you got or that you get?
No.
You should try it.
Okay.
I dare you, because if you take a look at what you're showcasing, they're absolutely beautiful and brilliant within itself, and it's not over cluttered.
Yeah.
Because you know how some still life can just be too much.
Right.
then it might be a little too abstract or with this, with that. I feel like, especially with the round fruits and that you have, especially with the teapots, and it seems like round is your thing.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Very circular, very round motions. It's beautiful, but also the highlights are really hard to capture. So how did you actually learn how to capture highlighting? Because it seems like that's actually what you're brilliant at, is highlighting each specific thing and having its own reflective characteristic to it.
Yeah, that was something I think you know, a lot of it's just painting for a long time and painting a lot of different objects, painting landscapes, painting portraits, painting still lifes. You just sort of, you end up with this, you know, set of skills for rendering different textures. And one of the things that I really like is reflective objects. So you just, you know, you get good at them, and it's like the, one of the, you know, just a simple little thing, like the harder edge the highlight, the more reflective a thing looks. So if you take those highlights out of there, that really doesn't look that shiny.
It looks dull.
Until then you add the highlights, and all of a sudden it's like that, it's called the specularity. It's the hardness of the edge of the highlight.
Sure.
If the highlight's really diffused, it's going to, the object will look more matte. It'll look more like like terracotta or something.
Sure.
And then the harder and the smaller and the more precise that highlight is, that's going to reflect. That's going to describe more of a shiny surface. So it's just kind of a shorthand that you can use if you add a few little hard highlights, and it automatically triggers the viewer to think they understand. Whether they understand specularity at all, they look at that, they see the hard highlights, they understand that that's like a glazed, finished surface.
How long would you say that it took you to actually master highlight and reflection?
Well, I'm still mastering. I don't know if anything's mastered yet.
Okay,
but
well, that's a fair point.
But I'm still, I mean, I've been, you know, I've been doing probably still lifes for about 10 years.
Okay.
That I've really been, have them as part of my output. Because for years, I pretty much only did landscapes. And then, like I said, I started doing still lifes like about 10 years ago. And then, like I said, they were more like exercises. It was like kind of like going to the gym. You put an apple on a table and you paint an apple. And that's just recently that I think, in the last couple of years, I've explored still lifes more as an expression of, you know, something. I'm not sure of me, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I actually, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for letting us interview you. Especially considering you have been one of my most top artists that I've been wanting to ask to contribute to our podcast here.
Great.
Especially for Loud Out Loud, but this is for Lauda on the Go for our call, of course. Is there one specific piece that you want us to take a look at before we take off?
No, just these. I think these and the movie stuff is pretty, you know, pretty representative.
Well, beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much for having us here. I wanted to shake your hand, but I feel like a hug is definitely.
Yeah, no, well, I'm a hugger.
Yes, we're all huggers here at the Northern Warehouse. So remember, this is Richard. You want to give a little outro on yourself?
Thanks. It's been a wonderful art crawl. Lots of people, lots of feedback, and a couple of sales. So, hey.
But you should go check his stuff out. It's beautiful, especially in person. There's nothing that beats his coloring. So, it's amazing. So, thank you so much, Richard, for hanging out with us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Loud Out Loud. We're going to go see our 5th artist here coming up soon.
You're on a roll.
Yes. It's great.